You know, a person's last words are usually his most important words. When a person is dying, he really thinks about what he's going to say to his family. What words is he going to leave with his family? Many years ago, when Denise and I resigned from our church in Riga, I'd preached to them many, many times. But I knew that when I stood before them the last time, the words that I spoke to them would be the most important words that I would ever speak to them, because they were the last words I would ever speak to them as their senior pastor. Now Jesus was in the upper room where he had just served communion, Last Supper, to his disciples. And Jesus is speaking his last words. He could speak to them about prophecy. He could speak to them about a myriad of things. But in those last moments, John 14, 15, and 16, Jesus chose to speak to the disciples about the Holy Spirit. He said that he was leaving, he would pray the Father, and the Father would give them another Comforter. He was talking about the Holy Spirit. Well, for 3 years, they had walked with Jesus. They had physically been with Jesus. They had heard his voice. They had touched him. They had felt him. They had stood by his side. They knew everything about Jesus physically, visibly. They knew all about Jesus. They had interacted with Jesus. But now Jesus says, I'm going to pray the Father and he'll send another Comforter, talking about the Holy Spirit, who will be invisible. You won't be able to see him. You won't be able to feel him. And it would have been natural for the disciples to say, what do you mean another Comforter? What's he going to be like? And Jesus said, another Comforter. Well, in Greek, the word another is the Greek word allos. And the word allos means another of the very same kind. Another of the very same kind. It was the equivalent of saying, I'll pray the Father and he'll give you another Comforter, another. He'll be just like me. He thinks like me. He acts like me. Talks like me. Behaves like me. What I would do is what he will do. What I would say is what he will say. He and me, we are identical in every single way. When he comes, it will almost be like, I am still with you, because allos, we are identical in every way. And you could actually interpret the verse like this. I will pray the Father and he will send you someone who is just like me in every way. He will be identical to me in the way he speaks, the way he thinks, the way he operates, the way he sees things, and the way he does things. He will be exactly like me in every way. If the Holy Spirit is here, it will be just as if I am here, because we think, behave, and operate exactly the same. If you're one of those people who have said, oh, I just wish that I could have walked with Jesus 2,000 years ago, you need to quit saying that, because the Holy Spirit is here. And the Holy Spirit is just like Jesus in every way. If you have the Holy Spirit, it's like walking with Jesus. Jesus healed, the Holy Spirit heals. Jesus led, the Holy Spirit leads. Jesus spoke, the Holy Spirit speaks. Everything Jesus did, the Holy Spirit does. And it's time for you to open your heart to the Holy Spirit and say, Holy Spirit, if you're just like Jesus, if you think like Jesus, if you speak like Jesus, if you act like Jesus, if you're like Jesus in every single way, I open my life to you and I ask you to lead me. I just open my whole heart to you. I ask you to lead me. Lead me just like Jesus led the disciples for 3 years. You see, that's how real the Holy Spirit is. He just needs your heart and he needs your ear. And if he has those, and if you're willing to listen and to obey, you can experience the wonderful, wonderful leadership of the Holy Spirit. These are the last words Jesus spoke to his disciples. And I will pray the Father, and he will give you another Comforter. And I'll tell you that if you'll open your heart to the Spirit, you'll have more comfort than you ever had in your life, because the Holy Spirit will envelop you. He will envelop you like a friend, like a partner, like a teacher. You'll never feel like an orphan again. Thank you for being with me today. Open your heart to the ministry of the Holy Spirit.